Okay, I'm looking at your rubric for checkpoint 3, and I just want to go through a few things on the rubric. So one of them is exterior building dimensions. You have some, but they're actually not shown correctly. You can delete all these interior building dimensions. I didn't ask you to put those there, and it actually makes it a little bit difficult to read your drawing. But for the exterior dimensions, go ahead and use the align dimensions, and the first dimension string goes from the face of the building to the center line of windows and doors. Okay, so this will be the first dimension string, right to the center of all the windows and doors. Oops, I meant to keep going. Okay, so once you have all the center lines selected of all the doors and the windows, this is your first dimension string. The second dimension string is going to be kind of each jut out or shape of the building, right? So this will be the first one, and then you'll dimension this space right here, and then you're going to dimension this little part that sticks out over here, and you keep going, etc. The one thing to remember is that when you're dimensioning, even though this dimension over here is shown up here, you're going to want to, or even though the building is shown up here, excuse me, you're going to want to pull your dimension string all the way down to meet the other dimension string. So you want to just keep your dimensions aligned. Same thing right here is that we're going to dimension this part as well and just pull that down. So this is your third dimension string, and then the final dimension string is your overall building dimension. Okay, and you try to keep an equal distance between these, but pull them far enough away from the building so that when you start to put your tags in, they don't overlap and hit the building elements. Now, some of your dimensions are very strange. Like, we wouldn't dimension something to 15/16. However, at this point, it might not be necessary to change those. Just in the future, you probably want to try to keep those to even numbers or like half-inch increments. For these dimensions over here, you can go ahead and just delete all of these and then dimension the way that I just showed you right here. And I actually forgot a dimension if you take a look. It's this one. Okay. And then if you get instances like here when the dimensions overlap, you may need to pull the dimension out, and you can do that just by grabbing and popping the dimension up. Alright, so same thing here. If this one's just a little bit difficult to read, just go ahead and slide that over a little bit. So I hope that helped you with the dimensions. The other part of the instructions say the clear width of the corridors has to be 8 feet. So a clear width is talking about from the interior face to the interior face. This should be actually not 8 feet, 6 feet. So you have 6 feet 11.5 inches, so that's okay. You can leave that alone. Just make sure on level 2 that the corridor up here is also a minimum of 6 feet, and it is. And then right here should also be 6 feet. But show those dimensions. Oops, that one's a little bit too small, so you'll have to fix that. Show those dimensions so that when you hand in your final PDF set, I can make sure that those are correct. And one other tip is to just crop your drawing before placing it on the sheet. So turn your crop region on, zoom out, and then pull that crop region in nice and tight to your building here. And once you get that nice and tight to your building, you're going to turn the crop region off. And if there's any elevation tags still hanging out, you want to highlight those, right click and say hide in view category, and it'll hide those elevations. But now when you go to place this on your sheet, when you go to drag and drop, you'll notice that it actually fits a lot better on the sheet. There you go. So it centers it nicely, and it shows the drawing title underneath it. The only thing that's wrong with this sheet right now is that you can see the crop region still, so you'd have to activate the view and oh, I don't know why the crop region is still showing. It's deactivated. Let's see. Oh, now it's gone. Okay. Oh, it was because I was highlighting over it. Oh boy, it's late. Sorry, Morgan.